Hi everybody, this is Steve Lasky. I'm the Editorial Director for the Endeavor Business Media Security Group. And today we're here with Caleb Augustin, the Vice President of Channels Americas for Verkada. How you doing today?
Pleasure to meet you, Steve. Thanks for having me today.
We're glad to have you and want to learn a little more about Verkada and what's going on at the show. So the first question we have is, we're talking about integrators, and they're looking to improve their efficiency, their profitability, want to be able to service their end user customers. So if you're delivering high quality solutions, what are some of the opportunities that Verkada has in-house right now that are going to offer them that opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, as we're seeing this evolution happen in real time. Partner profitability is kind of one of the key tenets that we've been working on since the introduction of a really redesigned partner program a little over a year ago, and we've done version 2 most recently starting on February 1st. Part of the change that we've made is we built a plus designation, and as this evolution of channel is taking place in real time, as I described, you see IT resellers coming into this market and integrators in this market, and we realize that our security integrators have a higher cost of sale. In order to roll trucks and purchase ladders and really build that robust services offering to our mutual clients, there's a higher cost to them. So we created a new price book on February 1st just for our security integrators, and that's a commitment that we've made as we evolve as a company. We've really built a program that is equitable regardless of the partner type. Number 2, I'd also say it goes back to how we're designing the experience. Even from a product perspective, we've looked at everything as how does an installer open up a box? How do they program the software? How do they build it for production? And even the number of screws when an installer is up on the ladder, how do we drive efficiency in that? We've built a level inside the camera as well, just like simple yet really impactful.
I mean, it's amazing how, just going down to the number of turns on a screw to put a panel or something in is going to make a difference.
Well, and I think you nailed it. We're thinking about partner profitability.
Right.
Is when partners are profitable, they typically reinvest.
Well, because they feel they have a commitment from you.
That's right.
So that's a good thing. I mean, it's kind of segueing to the next question. I mean, it's interesting that for security leaders, if you're talking about integrators, there's a pressure to justify ROI on technology, but that pressure also is for end users, because you're looking at budget constraints. You're talking to the C-level suites. So when we're talking to folks about long-term viability, flexibility, customization, what can end users, justify looking at a Verkada long-term solution?
Yeah, I think it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
Every channel you turn on talking about is efficiency and budget cuts.
Right.
And so I think we're thinking about that too as a company, right? And our messaging to our constituents, whether it be end clients or partners, is all about total cost of ownership. It's all about return on investment. I'll give you an example. Since we are cloud native, customers' ability to drive efficiency and solve problems quicker has never been greater when you own the entire vertical stack, and that's what we've built. A lot of legacy vendors in this space, Steve. One of the things we designed Verkada is because the experience of the end user has really been degraded. Think of your end user and you call your service partner and they call the manufacturer. Like, that process we always viewed as a little broken.
Yeah. Oh.
And it can take 2 weeks to resolution, and we've really thought about how can we drive that efficiency. And when you're making customers more efficient from a cloud platform and solve incidents faster, it drives down the total cost of ownership. And then we also don't have a physical device where that requires maintenance. We can do firmware updates by pressing a button or automate those things, and that drives real return on investment and drives down the total cost of ownership. And both our partners and customers love these changes that we're making, because we are thinking it's a very interesting time, as I described, with every budget is being scrutinized.
It's across the board. And it's interesting, that, we're looking at a lot of different trends in the industry. Everything from technology trends to service trends to compliance and regulatory trends. From your perspective, what are some of the most impactful trends that you're seeing from Verkada's perspective, but also those that are going to impact customers that you deal with from the integration side and also from the end user side?
Yeah, I think it's a fair question, and that you're seeing what I am.
Oh yeah.
Is that there's multiple users of the platform, right? And I think it goes back to driving down total cost of ownership. If you can get more customers involved of the usability and the data that this computer vision is driving, the more value that you can derive from the solution. I think that's one trend, is it's not just physical security that's utilizing the output. It's marketing, it's the sales team, it's the compliance team. And when you own the vertical stack, such as Verkada, you can talk to each of those personas individually on how it adds value to them. So that's one trend. I think the other thing is the buyer is changing and the consumer, right? I think we're seeing Verkada has largely seen this shift from maybe a facilities budget to an IT budget, and Verkada talks that language natively in kind of our go-to-market and through our partners on how to speak about SaaS and how in cloud and AI. That is native to who we are as a company, and we really resonate with that buyer. And I think the other thing is, like, we're seeing a shift to cloud. It's real, it's here. I think 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, cloud was a nice word, but now I think you see everyone here at ISC West that if they're not talking about AI or cloud, they're not resonating with their constituents or their customers, and we've been talking about it since inception, and that makes me really proud on how we're envisioning our go-to-market and how we're speaking our partners and customers' languages on making our customers successful.
Well, to that point, at the show at ISC West this year, you're talking about and showcasing the history player search. So why don't we just talk about that a little bit? Describe what it is, what it does, and why people should be excited about it.
Yeah, I think it goes back to our heritage. We're disruptive by nature, right. And we're kind of taking a first principles approach that if we were the person investigating a certain incident, how would we do it? How would we build it? And how would we do it differently than they're doing it today? Because a lot of our solutions are built with pain in mind, right? If they're experiencing a degraded process, we've thought about it as, in history search, I think is a perfect example. You click on the person in a frame, you highlight them, and then it shows that particular person across every frame quickly, since you own the vertical stack, to see where they're at on a college campus, if it's a large distributed international business.
Right.
You can see everywhere they've been, and the time to results and the time to resolution has never been greater. And I think that's the innovation and the disruption that we're committing to both our partners and our customers, that we're not satisfied with the product today. We want it to be valuable long term, and I think that goes back to total cost of ownership. We want our product to continue to get better over time, and it's a lot easier to justify budget when the product is valuable and can be used for multiple use cases.
And if you're an integrator, if you're an end user attending the show, or even if you didn't and you're just reading about things, you kind of touched on it in your last question, but what should be resonating with the folks that came by the booth, and what impression do you want them to be leaving with?
I think from my perspective, what I'm most proud of, and certainly the things that an end user would find a value, or a partner would find a value, is we are customer obsessed and we are partner obsessed, and we are not satisfied with the product we have today. We want to continue to evolve, and we take customer and partner feedback to heart. And I think that's one tenet of what we're building here.
Right.
Is when you get that feedback from your end users that they either love the product or if it could just be slightly improved, we're always thinking of ways to drive that customer experience. And I'll tell you, Steve, I've met with about 15 partners today, and one thing that they've told me personally is that we can count on Verkada to continue to innovate. And when they're taking a solution to our shared customers, that's one of the things that they hold most dearest to their heart, is bringing the best product to solve the most or to drive the most value for their clients, because they know if their clients have a great experience, they can hold that client for decades or generations, and we're seeing that in our partner community, and largely based on the solutions that we're building for them to take to market.
No, that's a good roadmap for success, so that's I wish you a lot of luck with that. So I want to thank Caleb Augustin for joining us today from Verkada. If you're at the show, come by the booth. If not, look them up online after the show is over, but appreciate the time.
Likewise, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you.